everybody. My name is Alex. I'm here from the Morph company. I could already see very humbly in the tool that you are very experienced IT business leaders, and I'm coming from Berlin. This is where I started in the creative industry, and my journey is not in the industry in IT, but I work as an agile coach mostly, and I work a lot with building change inside organizations, and sustainability is one big part of it. I co-founded the Morph company Switzerland in Zurich, and I'm also a member of a board of trustees in the Netherlands. I work a lot with pharma medtech and in the product development part. Our company, as I said before, is already in the creative industry. So we work a lot with the topic of transformation. We are looking into organizations. How do they need to change? What do they need in terms of structures and processes to improve? We work a lot with innovation, and there is also a lot of IT. So we have started at the Hasso-Plattner Institute in Potsdam. So the founder of SAP, who thinks that design thinking developed at Stanford is a very valuable thing for the IT industry. And so we started to work here mostly in really implementing innovation projects from a user perspective. And this is also where we are very active today still. And our new, and from all of us, the most excited topic is sustainability. So we know that we have a problem there in front of us as a generation, as humanity. And we also know that this is kind of a topic where there are very few experts. And even if you look at the biggest solutions that are existing, if you compare them to the problems we are facing, they might not be able to solve what we are facing. So there we are. Beginner, but also I haven't met really somebody who could tell me how to solve it yet. So this is something very interesting, and I also would like to make the talk a little bit maybe interactive. And if you have questions, please go ahead. Because I think the conversations around this topic are crucially important right now. Complex problems can only be solved in very interactive ways. There's no expertise yet to really solve it by its core. As I already said before, we started in Berlin 3 years ago. Now we grew the business to Switzerland, and we have the idea to really continue this journey. There is a global community around design thinking innovation. Mostly there are independent people, but also agencies. So it's very interesting to kind of try organization-wise to use the network way of solving things. So this is kind of what we try to build up in the next years. Now I would like to start to think about why is sustainability relevant in business and IT, and there are many numbers out there. And I just would like to start the conversation around this with three KPIs that are really striking for me and that show that how difficult the situation is right now. So one is the Earth overshoot day. The last time it was on really the 31st of December was in 1969. So it's already almost 60 years ago, 55 years ago, that we really stunted within our planetary boundaries, and we are exceeding it since then. And we haven't found a solution yet to go back. Another point that is very interesting to me is that 45% of harmful emissions are in the oil industry are in plastic. And these plastics are mostly used to build new products. So we already have a lot of products out there, and they go to the landfill, and we're still producing new products. And that's a very interesting question when you look into, we go later into this, into how you manage waste around the globe. And then there is a last part, and I think this is something that is also interesting maybe to discuss even. There's this new concept, or not new, but a concept of CO2 footprint. It was invented by British Petroleum. And it's about basically telling the customer or the consumer that if you fly, if you eat this, if you use the car, that your footprint gets bigger and bigger. And basically the responsibility is shifted toward the consumer. And clearly, as an industry leader, I think we need to accept that the responsibility is mostly with the industry having the access to the people who give the resources, the farmers in India for cotton, for instance, and then you sell it here in Europe to the market, to the consumer. So the industry is in there, and I think the responsibility has to be taken by us in this position. Now, going into the topic of basically IT and how our consumption is like shifting at the moment. It's very interesting to see how mobile evolved. I mean, mobile first is already since I think 2011 or even before that. More and more in the front of our heads for software development. And now what we see is that the consumption of these mobile devices is pretty high. And you can see actually the Mark, Alphabet, Facebook, and iTunes, Google Play leave in the energy sector. So and interesting, you can also see some like Spotify. You can see a peak in the morning in the energy consumption. So we can see that really the way technology is used is having a direct impact on sustainability. And what I also think is very interesting is that a big chunk, like almost half, goes into video streaming. Like using video streaming on our phones is eating up a lot of energy. And there is no boundary at all at the moment to kind of cut down on this. In contrary, when you want to build a website or when you want to market a good product, you know that you need to have video, otherwise nobody is going to like it. And we are still like in the loop of making people more addicted to our software, so that they continue using it. This is still how the business model are working. But so from a sustainable perspective, this is an issue. Now a little bit on the bigger picture. This was also very interesting. The internet explosion, it's called. How basically the energy consumption is growing, and this is 2017, right? So there's 27 and 2017, and now we have the ChatGPT hype. Is anybody in here has numbers about ChatGPT energy consumption? It's super high, right? Yeah. 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 Okay. So yeah, that I don't know what the numbers are yet. I didn't found any study because it's too new, but it's going to be very interesting to see. Okay, how is this going forward? And then I found a new study here about electricity usage, and this is like a forecast they show, and it's very interesting. They just like corrected the way it is. The forecast was measured was taken so far, but into consideration that you would have a 20% annual degradation of energy usage in terms of efficiency. And that's why the blue line is the best case, basically is so low. And they were saying, well, that's not really realistic. And they also changed a little bit how it's calculated. So that is, so you can see the numbers are pretty significant. It's 3 times higher than before. And still this might not consider what is used now for the AI layers. Oops. Oh, sorry. All right. Maybe now we talked about the bad part of, or the difficult part of technology and sustainability. There is also good. And we did a little calculation on, like, how can you, for instance, use a remote work meeting, and then you have basically 1 hour of video conferencing. It's 150 grams CO2. And if you compare it to riding a car, or using the metro or biking, or when we jet around the globe to have a meeting somewhere else, you can see, okay, it's kind of problematic to drive so much. So their technology is a big leverage to really help improving the situation around sustainability for organizations. This is an old picture, and the details are not important. The important part is basically this is a mouse with still a wire, so it's very old. But it's interesting to see this is only a mouse, and this is here like a study that tried to show the supply chain that is necessary to build this up. And the green ones are those where we know that they are ethically and like they have good conditions. The yellow ones, we know that something might not be okay, and the red ones we don't know anything about. So it's kind of interesting that even a very simple tool that is sold billions around the globe, you have a really hard time to make sure that this, from a sustainable perspective, is going well. And now, when we look at the end of the product life and we have something that goes to waste, so here you can see there's 7.3 kilo per capita of e-waste product produced every year. And when we look into how it is distributed around the globe, you can see, okay, the blue countries are basically exporting and the red countries are importing. And then you can see, okay, there we are in a global north-south dynamics where we have the problems that we basically need to solve then. In the countries that are not participating on the wealth or not in that extent as and the producing countries are in the north, those who benefit in the economies, and those who have to deal with the damage, they are in the south. So summarizing, I would like to just say, to finish this, the sustainable business the case is yet to be solved. We still don't know how to really get into a sustainable business dynamic. The technology has tremendous opportunities to really help to reduce climate damage. And also the growth of usage of technologies is bringing us to a point that we can say, or the studies mentioned that we know today, until 2030, we won't be able to decrease the use of energy. It's very unlikely. Till 2030, we for sure will use more energy than today. So that's a kind of a topic that is very relevant. And with this, I would like to continue to the next part, where I would like to show some use cases. I just continue and we do the questions in the end. All right. So now I would like to start with the business side. I brought some examples of companies that are really getting a lot of praise for their new innovations in the product and service environment. So these are German and Swiss examples, by the way. So one is here, Rügenwalder Mühle. They are very famous for their meat and beef and chicken products, and they were very successful for decades. And they started as one of the first to diversify, and then they gave the signal to the market. I think it was in the mid-10s, like in 2014 or 15, I don't remember correctly, but they were one of the first that signaling to market, hey guys, we make more than half of what we earn with vegan and vegetarian products. And then that was where I think the business side switched, and they rightfully so. The products are also great. So I don't know. I think this is a great story of how you can change business with really showing that it's possible. Another company not far away from here in Mainz, Frosch, they started to invest tremendously into how to turn their product. They didn't want to change the product. Their products are great, but they want to make the product sustainable. So they started to really use circular products. And what they are really excellent in is the granular of the recycled plastic that you need when you get the garbage bag, and then you want to have it as clear as before, right? The problem with non-virgin products is that they are not looking the same. They don't have the same haptics. So they were the first one who managed to really, with their in their product line, to really make it 100% recyclable. Not 100%, but the products that you get are the same level than when you get a new one, the recycled ones. So that's kind of extremely big success story, and they also are very widely recognized for their work in this. Then another part, of course, is the sharing economy. When you look at a project like Too Good To Go or the mobility sharing platforms, there's a lot of potential. Most of the product's life cycles, a car is 95% unused. A drilling machine has like 5 to 15 minutes really drilling in the product lifetime. So we don't need all of these products, and sharing economy and sharing platforms help us to really get way more efficient in using single products. So this is a very great way to really make an impact right away with what we already have. So you don't need to do much. And if you look into Too Good To Go, they also manage to have a business. It's a little bit more on the NGO side, but if you think of a big corporate, I think it can be a very nice way also to engage with the community, to engage with clients, to really build a sustainable relationship. So I think there are a lot of opportunities also on the social side. Then an old classic, I already mentioned car sharing, but also the case of Philips, where they stopped selling light bulbs. I think in the Netherlands they tested it, and they rented the light hours. So you would basically get a contract, and you would say, I have this building, I want it to be enlightened for like 12 hours a day, and then you would have a service contract with them, and the product Philips would build would be then a lot more sustainable than if they would want to sell you every 10 months a new light bulb. So the logic of business then shifts into a longer living and less material use of the products. Something else very, very interesting. It was in another example, like it was invented in the 60s, I think, or 50s, where somebody started to sell these mixtures to bake a cake at home. You would just add some water and an egg, and then you would have a proper cake. And this is it's a very smart way to reduce a lot of CO2 in logistics, because you add the water at home, and the water is most of the products. The weight comes from water, right? So in Switzerland, there's right now a very big effort to bring this wash product out. It's basically the same as before. You have only like a piece of paper, and there it's the detergent is in there, and then you can just throw it into the washing machine, and you save the heavy bags. You don't need to ship them. You don't need to have the logistics around it. So you save a lot of CO2, and you have the same product. On the market side, this product is a little difficult, because selling only these kind of papers, it's not the same as if you have these big, nice looking packs. So it's interesting, and I think there's a lot of potential there to take out pieces and to really let the customer finish the product. And then, of course, if you look into Patagonia, who basically they have their whole company set up from end to end with all of the processes in there to really make sure that the circular economy is properly they have ethical standards for their suppliers. So they really put it at the center of their company, and maybe, I don't know, maybe they are a role model for the company of the future. That when you look into how severe the problems are at the moment with the energy crisis, and how severe the problems might get with the biodiversity crisis that is coming soon, they are a very nice role model, and I would really love to see more of these ideas and thoughts. Not the same result maybe, but it's a great inspiration. Now I would like to focus a little more on the tech side. There is a lot of benefits right now that I see in Zurich. There are many big companies, especially also from the tech sphere. So smart grid is a huge topic, and what I also can see, or what I hear already from some of the companies who run a lot of plants around the world, that the smart grid has a lot of potential for also saving resources and also cost immediately. So that's a great way to think about, okay, how can you optimize energy consumption? You can build all the automatisms. You can use the smart grid to really go deeper. There are many startups around this, but I also see that the companies really develop it on their own. Like it's very, very unique to what's happening there. So I cannot disclose what I know there exactly. And then another startup is very interesting, or not that small anymore, but Lupia, also from Switzerland. They think of circularity as a service. So basically, they build a platform that you can, whatever product you have, and they help you to make it circular, which is very interesting also in an organizational context as an internal service to think. Then, of course, Sharely and the idea of having a platform where you can basically share everything. It's a no-brainer, but very powerful. And here you have another example from VZug is doing it, Miele is doing it. So they started to help the consumer to repair the washing machine on their own. And so they open a lot of their books, they open a lot of their knowledge, and they make it available, and they share the tools, and they show how it's done. And it is very interesting from a product development perspective, also from what kind of technologies do you need to provide, what kind of platforms do you need to provide for your consumers to do that. Right, and then of course companies like Fairphone who really look into the resource topic. How can you source it ethically and more sustainably, and then building components into the product. I think the approach is really nice. I know that the Fairphone is not performing well compared to other phones, and that's a problem. But the idea of having not planned adolescence anymore and really having a product for a long time and being able to switch components is great. And this is also from a product design perspective exactly what sustainability and this would tell us. Now I would like to bring an example for how the technology is a problem again, and this goes more into the direction of energy consumption. And I think you're all aware of the problem of Bitcoin with in the sustainability terms. And they are also not tending to really switch over for another solution. They are not switching like all the other cryptos to go to a proof of stake. They are sticking with proof of work, and that is eating up a lot of energy, and that's a problem. I mean, we shouldn't do it like this. There must be a smarter way, and I think this is also interesting to see. The benefits are clear, and we all are looking forward to have smart contracts and to really use the blockchain to democratize certain processes, and there are smart ways to do it. So I think as a conclusion, it's kind of interesting to think about how do we set up and share relevant data for identifying levels in companies, right? How can we, as IT specialists, how can we help? And I know it in the ESG reporting, there is a lot of conversations going on right now where it is a big challenge to get the right data and to find out what are the real levels of organization to really make a move forward. So I think this is a very important part where we have, as a tech specialists, there is a lot of benefits to be brought. Another point is interesting about enable connectivity and sharing interfaces. And when you look into dynamics of sustainable success stories, what you see is that a lot more people are involved who have a lot different roles and who have also maybe a very different needs and benefits. So when you think about how we work together in the future and we are getting more and more connected, this is something that is very important when we build solutions and we set up processes, that there is a possibility for many people, for everybody basically, to connect and to have an opportunity to share data or information. That there are many ways to put this at a high stake. Also, I already mentioned accessibility is also very interesting. When I go back to a textile example, right? I have a farmer in India. They have a village with a couple of hundred people. They have one phone, and this is how they are connected to the industry. And they deliver in these villages. They deliver the organic cotton we need to be more sustainable in the textile industry. So when you want to really make a change towards a more sustainable industry, there you need to have a software that is able to connect to this one farmer in India to really get the whole community on board. And this is accessibility is a big topic. Exactly. All right, now I would like to have a look into what are some patterns. We already mentioned some of them. And also I would like to give you a little outlook about what is maybe sustainability might not be the end of the discussion. There might be something after. And there are now lots of papers going on around regeneration. So I would like to finish this talk. I would like to go into the patterns in the outlook. So what's probably for us very interesting is to say we have on the one hand, of course, efficiency. That is always very easy and nice because it reduces cost, and that is something that we can do right away. Consistency is also a high point, because when we want to use products for a longer time, when we want to save resources, it helps a lot to build long relationships, to build up the capacities. So if you have hard and software topics and you can upgrade them and you can keep them for a longer time, it will just prolong the product life cycle tremendously, and help to really avoid trash. And then the part that is, I think, the difficult to address in all, because we are basically looking into different direction often, is sufficiency. So not doing things. So what the idea of sufficiency is basically not to use up CO2. So there is a technical part of it where you say, okay, we provide you a certain tool, but we don't incentivize you to use it often. We don't make you addicted. We try to help you to bring it in when you need, but we are not wanting you to use it all the time. You can use the same for data. The data centers are eating up a lot of energy as well. So having an awareness, and I think this is for many people something that they are not aware of when they use data, when they send emails and they put all the PDFs in there. This is eating up so much energy. And there you can also like educate and communicate. I think there's a lot of potential in there as well. And as last, I would like to mention the economy of the common good, especially in the AI discussion. It's very interesting. ChatGPT is a closed system, and they are open systems. And the race who will be the leading source is high. And some people tend to say that open source might make the race. I'm not sure. I'm not deep enough in the topic, but it's interesting also when we think in organizations, how can we contribute to make open source. It helps also then to connect more people and to make it more accessible. We talked a lot about circular economy already. There were many examples. I would just like to highlight, so this is the model from Philips, and here's a model from a website that is a nice source I can recommend. And here is the repair part is very interesting, because when you look into this system, we do many things already, right? We try many things, but repairing is completely out of scope at the moment. We have the labor costs are so high that it's very difficult to find a way how to really start repairing on a systematic level. So there is a lot of potential. How can we use products and provide the knowledge and the tools and the opportunity also in the products to make repairing more available again. And now I think I put this already now a third time in. It's very concerning when you look into, we have 10 billion people soon on the planet, and there's some crises that are lining up now. You have the CO2 crisis, biodiversity crisis is coming soon. So we are not sure where we go as a collective, and it's kind of interesting to see. Okay, we are leaping here in the unknown, and that is also, especially from a leading perspective, challenging, because we need to make one step after the other, and we need to see what works, what doesn't work. We need to try out different things, and it's very and that's also very interesting that it's difficult to really make a prognosis. So AI now, the hyped ChatGPT is killing most of the prognosis that were there. What comes next? The changes, they are coming in so fast now, and it's improving. The speed is increasing. It's pretty interesting to see. Okay, where are we going as a collective? And now I would like to finish also with some model that I think is very interesting, and there's quite some discussion going around now about this, and that's why I would like to finish with a note that is more positive and inspiring. This is a startup. It's called Holy Crap. It's located close to Frankfurt here. That's why I took them. They are just an example. There are many startups or ideas right now for regeneration. What they do is, this is an American crab. It doesn't belong to the biodiversity system in Europe, and it came here by plane or whatever, and it started to spread, and it had no natural animals. So in Berlin, when it is raining, you actually see it running around the streets. Yes, it's very dominant, invasive species, American crab. So they saw it in Berlin. They're also from Berlin, and they saw it on the street, and then they started, hey, why don't we? I mean, this is a crab. This is a delicacy, right? And it's running everywhere around here. Why don't we start to use this crab to build a new product, to create a new market? And you have wild boars, you have so many things here you can eat, right? You have goose in Frankfurt. They are the very aggressive goose. They are from Egypt. They are not from here. So this is a very interesting example, and their products are climate positive. So basically, when you eat this crab, you help the biodiversity locally to recover, and then it binds more CO2. It's very it's a new way to think, right? It's very creative, and there is a famous voice, Michael Braungart, who invented Cradle to Cradle, and he also speaks about this. He says we have a technosphere and a technocycle, and we have the biosphere and the biocycle. And what his suggestion is, how can we maybe merge, when we think about business, how can we merge these cycles, right? How can we, when we start building products and new ideas, how can we help nature to recover with what we do anyway, right? So that is maybe some inspiration to the end. How could it look like a renewable business model regeneration? Something to take away in terms of sustainability. And yeah, that's it for my side. Thank you so much for your attention.
Oh.